So here we are in Mobi Flight. We've got the default profile for Flight Sim 2024 set up. This is the combined profile for the radio and the autopilot. We're only going to look at the radio functions, which are these ones labelled CXL radio. So what we're going to do is we're going to program some of the controls on the second page of the radio stack to cover the GPS or the core GPS functions. We're going to do it for the GNS430. It's exactly the same for the 530, except you have to choose the 530 commands instead of the 430 commands. The commands are exactly the same. In fact, you can map both at the same time, so you can drive both GPSs, well, simultaneously, which doesn't really make sense. But more to the point, if you map both sets of controls using the same profile, you can drive an aircraft that has the 430 fitted or the 530. We're going to leave any of the default mappings alone, and we're going to just add new lines for each of the mappings that we want. So let's start with the two control knobs. We're going to use, from the ADF knobs, we've got three knobs and they're conventionally labelled A, B and C. We're going to use B and C. That's the middle one is going to be the outer control knob for the GPS. The rightmost one on the panel is going to be the inner or the small control knob for the GPS. And not forgetting that the small knob has a push switch as well. So let's start with the large knob. We're going to come down to this bottom of this grid here, and where it says double click row to add new config, we're going to do that. So we can type in a human readable name there. We're going to call it GNS430 underscore, I think for aesthetic purposes we're going to call it large dial. So that's created that line. If we look at the module and input and type fields, they're blank. We go to these three dots at the end where it says edit, and we click that. So the first thing we need to do is choose the module. So you can see I've got the autopilot connected and the radio connected and some other joysticks which we're not going to program. So we're going to click the radio, and the device on the radio that we're going to target is the knob ADF B, which is the center knob. So you'll see for this knob we've got different tabs for turning the knob to the left, turning the knob to the right, or we've got alternative events for turning the knob quickly to the left or to the right. Now in this particular mapping for the GPS there is no need for distinguishing between the fast and slow events, so we're only going to map the left and on right. So we start with the on left. We choose action type. It's a Microsoft Flight Simulator action, and we can filter this list by saying we want to only look at and this is going to list all the events that are available to us to program. So we're going to look for the ones that are default Microsoft Sim events. We want this to be active in all aircraft, so we're going to choose generic, and then again we could just look down that list of events, but it's a very long list. It's 1,259 items, so we can filter it even further. We want to look at the Avionics events, so we've got only 310 things in the list now. So we're moving the large dial for the GPS to the left. What we want to look for is the events that are prefixed with AS430, that's the GNS430. It's the right hand large knob and it's the leftmost event. And we can show this preset code. This shows us in a little bit more detail the technicalities of that. We don't really need to do that. That's almost all we need to do. We'll do the same for the right, turning the knob to the right. Again, we want to do a Microsoft Flight Simulator event, Microsoft generic, Avionics, and we want the AS430. You can see by the way the AS530 events are there as well, but we're going for the 430 in a minute, and it's the right large knob turned to the right event. Now that's almost all we need, but not quite. The one thing that's missing is we go up to the very top of this dialog and we find the precondition tab. Remember, we only want this to work on the second radio stack, so what we have to do is click on this precondition list, and the type of precondition, just trust me on this, is config item. And if we look at the list of config items, we're going to find, I mean you can explore this for yourself, but the one we want is system selected I suspect we could use sys2 selected, but I'm just copying how the default profile's programmed, and it uses system selected and current value equals 2. So that precondition now means that this won't control the GPS when we're on page radio stack 1, which is quite right because we want to be controlling the ADF radio most likely. So that's that, we just OK out of that, and that's done. So then we want to, let's say for the small dial, we add another new line there. We're going to call that GNS430 small dial. Whoops, let me just show what happened there. And again, we want to go into program, choose module, radio stack, device. It's the ADF-C knob this time. I selected the wrong thing there. I selected the push button. That's getting ahead of myself. So we want to go to knob ADF-C. And we're good to go. Last thing we need to do for that GNS430 small dial, we need the push switch. So we go again. It's the knob or the push ADF-C. And so you'll see we've got different, we don't have left and right here because it's a push button instead of a knob. So we've got on press, on release, and again we've got two alternatives. We've got the opportunity for a long press, which gives us two additional events, hold and long release. We'll look at an example of that in just a second, but for now we're just going to use the on press event. It's going to be... So that's pretty much all we have to know. We just need to laboriously go through all the buttons, mostly buttons. We've done the two dials that we're going to be using. Everything from here is exactly the same. Now we're going to do one slight exception to that, which is the clear button. And that's because there's a distinction between a long press and a short press. Most of these button clicks, by the way, we're using the center push switches on dial controls, and in particular we're making use of push switches on the transponder controls, which are unmapped in the default profile. But for now we're going to use the clear button. Once again, we've seen this before. This time we're going to distinguish between a long press and a short press. So what we need to do, rather than programming actions onto the on press event, we're going to program to the on release event and the on long release event. So we're going to look at the on release event first, and as before. So we're going to go for the clear push, and then on the long release, by default what constitutes long is 350 milliseconds. We're just going to leave that as default. We just do exactly the same. Clear push long. So we're going to go for a quick test flight. We're sitting here in the American Champ Decathlon. We're going to fly, and we're at Long Beach Airport. We're going to fly out to L70 Agua Dulce, and we're going to do it on a flight plan. The GPS. We've got GNS430 in this aircraft, so that's what we're going to be using. So let's put the flight plan in. We've got a simple-ish flight plan. I'm going to show you entering it manually into the GPS using the mappings that we've put on the radio panel. Of course, you could do this in the flight planner in FS 2024 and then squirt it up to the GPS, but we're trying to do it authentically here. So we're going to go and make sure we're on panel 2 so that we've got the control mappings. We're going to go into the flight plan screen. Press cursor to enter the first waypoint, and so we're going to enter Long Beach, KLGB. So that's the first one. Second one is visual point, it's the Vincent Thomas Bridge, VPLVT. Then we're going to go to the Santa Monica VOR. So there's the flight plan. We back out of that. We can see it on the GPS. I can't see it particularly clearly as a whole, just given the resolution of that GPS, but we'll see it as we go. Long Beach ground, Champion Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra holding short 26 for a southbound departure.
Champion Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra. Long Beach Airport Tower, runway 26 left, winds 110 at 3, cleared for takeoff. After takeoff, fly runway heading to 800 feet, then left heading 180.
Cleared takeoff, runway heading till 800 feet, and then a 180 return to the south, X-ray Golf Sierra. This runway is marked up in the sim as 25 right still, but it's in the real world it's now 26 left, correction. So we're going to climb to 800 feet before we make our turn.
Dragon, you're leaving my airspace. Squawk VFR, frequency change approved.
We've got a good rate of climb in this aircraft, so we're coming up on 800 feet already. We can turn out onto our southerly heading. We're going to go to 4,500 feet because that's what the approved type for the special flight rules area is. We should have dialed that in advance. It's leveled us out already. And we're going to go on to our autopilot. So if we zoom in on what's happening on the GPS, it's trying to. The autopilot is quite unsophisticated in this default configuration. This is the aircraft modelling in Flight Sim 2024, or the modelling of the autopilot avionics, shall we say. It does some very sharp turns, even when it's trying to acquire a heading, but it's almost done. Long Beach Tower, Champion X-ray Golf Sierra, request frequency change to SoCal approach.
Champion X-ray Golf Sierra, frequency change approved to SoCal approach.
X-ray Golf Sierra, thanks. SoCal approach, Champion Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra.
Champion Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra, SoCal departure. Say again your request, please.
Champion Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra, we're requesting flight following to Lima 70 by the LA Special Flight Rules area. X-ray Golf Sierra.
United 1276 radar contact, climb and maintain 10,000.
Should be squawking.
Champion X-ray Golf Sierra, squawk 3123 and ident.
Squawk 3123 and ident X-ray Golf Sierra.
United 1276 contact SoCal departure on 124.3. Over to SoCal departure on 124.3. United 1276.
So we're going to make a 90-degree turn when we get to the.
X-ray Golf Sierra, radar contact, 6 southwest of Long Beach Airport, Daugherty Field, at 4500 feet. Long Beach altimeter 29.901. United 1276 contact Los Angeles.
Okay, we're making a 90-degree turn now over the Vincent Thomas Bridge. That puts us. We're not strictly flying now. To fly this
Departure, United 1646 1000.
special flight rules,
Champion X-ray Golf Sierra, contact SoCal departure on 124.3.
124.3 X-ray Golf Sierra. SoCal departure, Champion Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra with you 4,500 feet northwest bound. Let's just wait till we get a response from this guy.
Champion Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra, SoCal departure. Good morning, Long Beach altimeter 29.901.
So to fly this route, normally we'd be flying this on a VOR radial to the Santa Monica, which is a little bit left of our current track, but there was no easy way to plan that in the GPS. So we're a few degrees off, just tracking towards that VOR. So that would be Zamperini down there. And we're heading directly for Los Angeles International, LAX. Up we're still under airspace for now. We're going to ask for a clearance, but it's not very good at doing this correctly, and it doesn't know about the. I don't think SayIntentions knows about the official traffic routes. I tried flying the various VFR routes, but it just gets very confused. We can actually dial in the LAX VOR 113.6, is that what it is? And although we don't have a VOR, we can fake the DME by pressing the DME button. So that'll tell us how far we are from, basically from LAX airport. And before we get there, we should ask for a clearance. And we may or may not get it correctly. Within 6 miles, we should ask for it really. Let's ask for that clearance now. SoCal departure champion Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra request clearance through the Class Bravo via the Special Flight Rules area, destination Lima 70 X-Ray Golf Sierra.
Southwest 2738, contact Oakland Center on 134.375. Switching to Oakland Center on 134.375. Southwest 2738.
4 miles from LAX.
Champion 30 Golf Sierra cleared through the Class Bravo via the Special Flight Rules area.
Awesome. Cleared through the Class Bravo champion X-Ray Golf Sierra. And what sometimes happens is he'll come on later and say that I'm not cleared. Pilot deviation. and you just ask for the clearance again and he gives it to you. So I've noticed we don't have the data fields on by default on the GPS, so we're just going to switch those on now. So we go for the menu and data fields on. So we're 6 miles from Santa Monica, 6.3 miles. Santa Monica Airport should be, that's probably right in the front of the nose now. Downtown Los Angeles over there. Century City over there. Hollywood Hills. Should be able to see the Hollywood sign, but I'm not sure exactly where to look.
Champion X-Ray Golf Sierra, you have not been cleared into the Bravo area.
See, there you go.
Exit the Bravo immediately. Once clear, advise when ready to copy phone number for possible pilot deviation.
Yeah, you cleared me, man.
Departure, Alaska 1342,000 for 4,000.
X-Ray Golf Sierra requests clearance through the Class Bravo via the Special Flight Rules area.
Champion 3 Golf Sierra cleared through the Class Bravo via the Special Flight Rules area.
Yeah, that was easy. Not very realistic, but easy. So that's Santa Monica Airport, right off the nose. We're going to turn off to the right, and then at some point we need to switch to Van Nuys approach. I'm just decluttering that map. It's very hard to see with all the stuff turned on. So we're going to get a countdown. We're at 0.8 miles. We'll get a countdown very shortly. And then we'll get the turn. There's the countdown, 9 seconds. 3, 2, and it's anticipated that turn. Now we're going to have a problem in a little while. Well, not really a problem, but potentially an issue. We're quite low. We are going to clear those hills that we're going to turn directly towards, but we're only going to clear them by about 500 feet, if that. So we're going to make a little amendment. Let's just wait till we make that turn. There we go. probably going to call me in a minute, actually. So what we want to do is, we'd ideally like to not go over those mountains. We'd like to swing around that bit further to the left.
Champion X-Ray Golf Sierra, contact Van Nuys departure on 124.6.
124.6, X-ray Golf Sierra. I knew that was going to happen.
United 2096, contact SoCal departure on 124.3. Over to SoCal departure.
Van Nuys departure, Champion Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra.
Champion Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra, Van Nuys departure, good morning. Van Nuys altimeter 29.91.
X-ray Golf Sierra, thanks. So what we're going to do is we're going to stretch that leg out by pressing the, make sure we're on the page 2, pressing the OBS button. If you look on the GPS, we can now adjust that course outwards till we're happy with it. That's probably about as far as we can adjust it, because it's always going to fly an intercept of less than 90 degrees. So that should take us out a little bit and hopefully avoid those mountains. In fact, if we leave it in OBS mode for a second, once we get close to that and begin to acquire it, we can push it out a bit further if we need to. So we've got cross-track error of 0.9 miles. That means it's going to be 0.9, 0.8 miles till we acquire that course. So we're going to push it out a little bit further.
Champion X-ray Golf Sierra, Agua Dulce Airport, and
Just
your
pushing us
3
out
14 miles.
a little bit
Change to
more.
advisory frequency approved. Radar services terminated. Squawk VFR. So long.
Squawk VFR X-ray Golf Sierra, thank you very much. Agua Dulce traffic, Cessna, correction, Champion X-ray Golf Sierra. 4 miles to the south west. We're now going to enter a straight in for runway 4, X-ray Golf Sierra. I think let's do that. Bit of a bounce there. Still not particularly good with this aircraft. Oh my god. To put it mildly. So there we go, Agua Dulce L70.